Stop. Do not scroll another second. My beloved child, for this is the word I release like a trumpet blast in the night, striking directly into the warrior spirit within you, a spirit that has long been weighed down by exhaustion, distraction, and layers of spiritual fog you have no name for. I call you not with a soft whisper, but with the sharp echo of a commander who sees the battlefield before you growing more dangerous than ever. You think you are walking through ordinary life, but in truth, you are standing in the very center of a spiritual war front where the enemy has surrounded you with poisoned arrows of deception. I speak with urgency. It is time to awaken, not to panic, but to recognize where you stand, who you are, and why the enemy desires to extinguish the flame inside you. I did not come merely to soothe your emotions. I came to awaken the soldier within you, the one who has slept too long, while the battle has intensified hour by hour. My child, the ground you stand on is not ordinary life. It is a front line. Not a front line in the earthly sense, but the front line of an invisible war where every thought can become a weapon if you do not discern it correctly. You have sensed the footsteps of the enemy circling you through days when your mind felt heavy for no reason. Mornings when you woke exhausted without explanation. Waves of vague anxiety rising like thin smoke from head to chest. These things are not random. They are signs that the spirit of the warrior within you is under attack by the enemy's most subtle tactic, the tactic of blurring vision. The enemy does not always use fire and swords. It uses fog. It uses strange thoughts to make you feel small. It uses heavy emotions to make you believe you are weak. It uses faint whispers to make you think you are alone. But I declare to you, you are not alone. And you are not weak. You are simply covered by a tactic designed to make warriors forget the true strength they possess. Picture yourself as a soldier who has walked too long in thick fog, to the point where you can no longer tell north from south. You keep stepping but feel like you are sinking. Keep moving but feel no progress. Keep trying yet do not know if you are nearing or drifting from the position I called you to stand in. On a real battlefield, a soldier who loses orientation is the easiest to ambush. The same is true in the spiritual realm. The enemy with the most experience does not need violence. It only needs to disorient the fighter. And when your vision blurs, you begin to doubt every truth I placed in you from the beginning. But I will not allow that to continue even for another moment. I am tearing away the fog before you not with a violent wind, but with a vertical shaft of light from above. The kind only the one who created your soul and called you into this warrior's identity can release. You must understand that deception in the spiritual realm does not begin with a shout. It begins with whispers. Thoughts you assume are your own are dropped into your mind like thin leaves falling to the ground. One leaf feels weightless. Many leaves become a burden. The enemy knows that if it can make you believe I have no worth, I am not strong enough, I am not loved, or I am a burden, then it never needs to strike again because you will retreat on your own. Lay down your weapons on your own. Step out of the position I assigned you on your own. But listen to me clearly in this hour, you must not abandon your position. Not because I need you to win, but because you were born to win. That is your nature. That is your spiritual DNA. You were woven with the strength of a gatekeeper, a watchman, a chain breaker, an arrow blocker. You are not a weak one trying to be strong. You are a warrior being deceived into forgetting your true power. Remember the moments when you felt an invisible pressure pressing on your mind. The times you sat in a dim room sensing a shadow circling you. You were not imagining it. That is the battlefield. That is the sign that you are being targeted because the enemy knows your value in my kingdom. You are not attacked because you are low. You are attacked because you are high. You are not attacked because you are weak. You are attacked because you carry the ability to break things in darkness that others cannot see. You are not attacked because you are lost. You are attacked because you are dangerously close to the door of destiny, the darkness fears you will touch. Picture your soul as a flame the enemy is trying to extinguish with foreign winds. But I am standing there, shielding the flame with my very presence so that it continues burning no matter how strong the winds feel. You think you are fading, but in reality I am guarding the fire you carry, even when you cannot feel me. I stand before you like the shield bearers of old, blocking the sparks and arrows of war. You do not see me because your head is bowed in exhaustion, but I see you from head to toe, your wounds in thought, your cuts in emotion, and the poisoned arrows trying to lodge themselves into your heart. My child, I speak this with the highest seriousness. The time has come for you to rise, not by the old strength that once exhausted you, but by a new awareness you are a warrior, not a victim of the battlefield, not someone dragged by every shifting wind, not someone passive, easily manipulated by darkness. You carry the lamp, the weaponry, the authority I placed within you on the day you were formed. You are no longer permitted to live as someone who doesn't know where they belong, because you belong to me, and those who belong to me are never left lying cold on the ground of the battlefield. I call your soul back, not back to the past, but back to your position as a warrior in me. Stand again on the feet of truth. See again through the eyes of light. Breathe again through the breath of peace. And fight not merely to survive, but to reclaim the territory of your mind that the enemy deceived you into surrendering. Prepare yourself, for this is only the beginning of the awakening I am releasing into your spirit. Sit with me for a moment, and let me explain what you have sensed only through intuition, but have not yet been able to name. You have believed you were tired because of work, because of life, because too many responsibilities pressed on you at once. Yet the deeper truth lies in the spiritual realm. The soul of a warrior is affected not by what the eyes see, but by the invisible vibrations surrounding them, vibrations that only those who are marked, like you, can feel so intensely. This is not weakness, this is recognition. You feel more than others not because you are fragile, but because you are designed to detect the enemy from afar, like a scout sensing footsteps even in silence. The sudden ache in your mind is not emotional turbulence. It is your spirit warning you that distorted truth is attempting to slip in. The heaviness that rises without explanation is not a mood drop. It is deception trying to pull your spiritual energy downward. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to show you the mechanics of the battle so you stop blaming yourself. The enemy never attacks warriors with a direct strike at first. He always begins with distortion. Imagine a battlefield where the enemy does not charge, but releases white smoke to blur the vision. The soldier panics not because he is wounded, but because he cannot see where he stands. This is what you have been facing: a haze, a fog, an echo in your thoughts that makes you question yourself. Yet I want you to understand that this fog does not define your value. It only reveals that you are standing in a territory being contested. Which territory? The territory of your mind. For when the mind becomes clouded, the heart loses direction, and the warrior lowers their weapon without anyone taking it from them. You have not grown weaker. You have simply been touched by subtle strategies meant to dim the brightness of your soul. Let me make a spiritual law unmistakably clear. Lies only gain power when you think they are truth. A poisoned arrow kills not by the metal, but by the toxin coating its surface. In this battlefield, the toxin is the false idea that makes you forget who you are. You have taken in a few arrows without noticing. When someone criticizes you, you tell yourself it is just a comment, but it is truly an arrow aimed at your worth. When you are compared to another, you think you are simply a little hurt, yet it is an arrow striking your identity. When your efforts go unrecognized, you assume it is ordinary life, but it is an arrow designed to shake the spiritual confidence I placed in you. You are not wrong for feeling the pain. You are not weak for being affected. You simply have not realized that you are standing at the exact spot the enemy wants to target. I am here to pull those arrows out before they turn to poison. Now let me explain the most important part. You are not condemned when I warn you. My warnings are nothing like the accusations of the world. They are light shining on the places darkness intends to touch, not to shame you, but to prevent you from being attacked without awareness. I do not stand above you to point out flaws. I stand beside you to point toward the direction from which the arrow is flying. When I say, be careful, it is not because I think you are doing something wrong. It is because I see what you cannot yet see. I warn you not because you are weak, but because you are valuable enough to guard, and I illuminate the path so you do not fight in the dark. Do not swing at shadows. Do not waste your strength on battles that are not real. You were not born to strike blindly. You were born to strike precisely. You have asked me many times, why does everything feel so heavy? And today I answer because a layer of deception has been trying to close over your spiritual sight. But here is the extraordinary truth. You are beginning to notice it. When a warrior first senses the sting of the enemy's blade, it is the sign that the warrior is waking up. I want you to know that this heaviness is not proof of defeat. It is proof that you are hitting the very zone darkness fears most, the zone of awakening. Your awakening does not erase the battle. It transforms you into someone intentional. Someone who is no longer led by emotion. No longer pushed over by false voices. No longer attacked at the same old wounds as before. Remember the story of the night watchman on the ancient walls. He kept guard through the long winds of the night and the bitter cold. And when he rubbed his eyes, he thought he saw a shadow moving. Fear rose. But the shadow was only a tree swaying in the wind. What frightened him was not the enemy, but the lack of clarity. I tell you this so you understand your greatest fear is not what is happening, but what you imagine might happen. Deception operates most powerfully not in reality, but in a misfiring imagination. I come to pull you out of that fearful imagining and place you back into truth. And the truth is this: you have not lost your position. Your soul has not broken. You are not lost. You have simply been touched by echoes that are not mine. You were created to discern truth from noise. And I am illuminating that gift within you right now. Recognize this as your foundation when you stand in truth. Darkness loses every grip. When you stand in light, deception dissolves on its own. I am pulling you out of the place where you felt surrounded, not by sending a violent wind, but by opening your eyes to see what is real. For the warrior who wins is not the one who is strongest, but the one who sees the clearest. My child, it is time for me to speak of something deeper, something you have carried in your heart for years but never knew how to name. The warrior nature within you never disappeared. It merely lay still, waiting to be awakened, like a sword sheathed to avoid gathering dust. True strength is never lost. It is simply guarded until the right hour. You thought you had grown weak, lost your fire, or let go of your resolve. But what has truly been happening is this: I am calling you back to the position you were born to hold. That position is not out there in the competitions of the world. It is within the deepest chamber of your soul, where I placed a spiritual sword in your hand, long before you had a name on earth. I am not exaggerating when I say you were destined to stand at the forefront of invisible battles. I do not assign warfare to the fragile. I assign it to those with the potential to awaken truth inside themselves. I have seen how your spirit trembles at words that cause you to doubt yourself. I have seen how you shrink back when darkness breathes cold into your mind. I have seen how you retreat not because you refuse to fight, but because you no longer knew whether you still had enough strength to stand. But I want you to know this: rise not because you feel strong, but because you were designed to rise. A warrior is not defined by the battles they avoid, but by the battles they refuse to abandon even when their hands shake. You think you are weak because you tremble. But I say trembling is not weakness. Trembling means you are still alive, still sensitive, still able to recognize light from shadow. That sensitivity is what makes you usable in this hour. What I am doing now is pulling you out of the places that caused you to doubt your own warrior nature. The words spoken about you, the misunderstandings, the harsh labels you placed on yourself, all of these are invisible cords. Let me pull them off. One by one. I do not pull hastily. I pull with certainty. I pull by reminding you of this truth. A warrior does not measure themselves by the wound, but by the ability to rise again after the wound. You are not one who has fallen. You are one who has been misdirected. And once the direction is corrected, you will see that nothing was lost. The fire within you simply slept. Listen to what I am declaring. Within you lies a territory untouched by darkness, a core I have sealed, containing strength you do not even realize you have. When you are discouraged, that place stays lit. When you are hurting, that place keeps standing. When you are exhausted, that place keeps breathing like a warrior waiting to be called. And now I am breathing upon that place again so it may rise. Push back every doubt and make you stand not by pretending to be strong, but by being rooted like an ancient tree standing tall in a storm. Its stability is not in its branches, but in its roots. Speaking of roots, I want you to understand that a warrior is not strong because of muscle. A warrior is strong because of spiritual rooting. Your roots are anchored in me and my truth, in my breath, in the purpose I wrote upon you. No battle can uproot that. It may shake your leaves, bend your branches, or tilt your trunk, but the roots hold you. And because the roots hold you, you are not lost. You simply need to be rebuilt after the storm. I will rebuild you. I am rebuilding you. And when I rebuild, you will stand stronger than before, because you will stand by truth, not emotion. Let me release this over you. You are not merely a survivor. You are a carrier of assignment. There is a reason your soul detects spiritual tremors. There is a reason you are easily wounded by deception. There is a reason the enemy aims at you more than others. You carry a voice. You carry sight others do not have. You carry spiritual intuition many long for. You carry inner ears that hear signals from the spiritual realm long before your natural ears pick up anything. You sense before things happen. Your spirit warns before your eyes see. That is not a burden. That is a warrior's privilege. Understand this: warriors are not chosen because they are perfect. They are chosen because they are perceptive. And you are such a person. The pain that once weakened you will become the radar that helps you distinguish truth from illusion. The tears that once blurred your vision will become the oil that clears your sight. The nights you asked, "Why do I feel so much?" were proof that the warrior spirit within you was never lost. It simply lacked direction. I have come to give it direction again. Remember this image: a soldier standing on the rampart, hands trembling from the cold wind, yet eyes fixed on the horizon. No one calls that soldier weak. They call them the pillar of the city. You are that person. You tremble because you still feel. You tire because you are still fighting. You cry because you are still alive. And these very things prove that you never abandoned your post. You have bowed your head for far too long. Now I lift your chin, not to make you proud, but so you can look forward again. Not so you can prove anything, but so you can know you are wearing the armor I have placed on you. You once said, "I am not enough." But I say, you are equipped. You once believed, "I'm not strong." But I say, you were built as a warrior. You once feared, "I may be going the wrong way." But I say, I am your compass. You were made to fight. You were made to stand. You were made to break deception. You were made to bring light into dark places. You were made to remind others that they carry the same warrior nature you do. My child, now I gather everything I have spoken in the last 3 realms and place them in the position where you are meant to stand, the position of a warrior no longer swayed by deception, no longer eroded by fear, no longer pulled aside by voices that do not belong to me. You have already passed through the season of siege, already walked through the haze, already stood on the front lines where the enemy's arrows tried to strike your worth, your identity, and your peace. But with each layer of deception peeled away, you began to see yourself with clearer, deeper, sharper eyes, no longer measuring strength by emotion. You now stand by the truth I planted in you. You have realized that the battle is not evidence of your weakness, it is evidence of your importance. I want you to carve this truth into the deepest part of your spirit. Warriors are not called because they are strong because they are called. I have pulled you out of the fog where you could no longer tell which thoughts were real and which were echoes of lies. I have brought you back into the light where truth becomes the air you breathe, where every breath you take carries my protection, and every breath you release carries awakening. You are now learning that not every emotion is a compass, and not every thought is truth. This is the sign of spiritual maturity. You no longer panic when waves of emotion rise. You stand still long enough to discern them. You no longer rush to accept fear as fact. You ask me before you believe anything. This is the maturity of a seasoned warrior, not one who wins every battle, but one who knows which battles are real and which are only noise. I place the weapons back into your hands, not in a way that burdens you, but in a way that reminds you that you are already equipped. The sword you carry is not made of steel, it is made of truth. When you lift it, lies cannot come near. The shield you bear is not made of wood, it is made of trust. When you raise it, every arrow of doubt falls away without leaving a mark. The armor you wear is not made of metal, it is made of the knowledge that you are loved and held. When you wear it, the enemy sees it and cannot touch you. I do not equip you to make you harsh, I equip you to make you unshakable by anything meaningless. In this stage, I strengthen your soul with a vital understanding. Awareness is not tension, awareness is clarity. You once feared that being spiritually awake would make you overly guarded. But no, awakening in me means seeing from above, from the vantage point of one who is no longer ruled by chaos. You are not living in constant defense, you are living in constant clarity. You know who is speaking. You know what is influencing you. You know which voice is mine, and which voice is deception. This is the posture of a mature warrior, one who does not swing blindly, does not panic easily, does not chase every sound, but knows how to hold position, hold breath, and wait for the right moment to move. And now, I reposition you on the battlefield of the spirit. You are not standing in the lowest place, you are standing in the high ground. You are not hidden in the shadows, you are standing where light shines directly upon you. You are not surrounded, you are encircled by angelic ranks unseen by human eyes. You are not being dragged toward darkness, you are being pulled from within by my call that reminds you that you have a role in this battle. And that role is not to endure blows, but to carry light, not to stay silent, but to release a clear sound, not to run, but to stand as a pillar in the storm. Let me speak this with the full weight of unshakable truth. No one can take your place on this battlefield. No one carries the spiritual imprint you carry. No one has been designed to feel, to hear, to discern the way you do. No one has the same path or the same assignment. You did not come to replace anyone, and no one can replace you. You are a vital piece in the divine formation I am raising up in this generation. The enemy has tried to deceive you into believing you are not enough because it knows that when you stand in your rightful place, it can no longer touch those around you. You are not fighting only for yourself, You are fighting for the entire territory I planted you in. I gather every word I have spoken and seal it with one final declaration over your soul. You are a complete warrior when you stand in truth. Not when you stop fearing. Not when you stop trembling. Not when you stop feeling weak, but when you know that none of those emotions can move you from your post. A true warrior is not someone who never gets hurt. A true warrior is someone who refuses to let hurt decide their direction. A warrior is not someone who never sheds tears. A warrior is someone who wipes their tears and rises again. A warrior is not someone who has never been deceived. A warrior is someone who refuses to let deception extinguish the fire within. There are nights when you sit down after a long day and realize you are tired not because you did too much, but because you faced too many invisible battles. No one struck you. No one shoved you. No one spoke harsh words. Yet your heart feels as if it just walked through a war no one saw. I see you take off your shoes, place your phone on the table, and exhale as though trying to release something heavy floating inside you. You ask yourself why such small things exhaust you. Why your heart aches when nothing touched you. Why your spirit feels bruised when nothing major happened. You think it means you are weak. But I see something else you have been fighting all day without noticing. Not fighting with hands, but with your mind. Not resisting people, but resisting whispers that tried to slip inside. And what exhausts you is not the battle, but the fact that you fought in silence where no one saw, no one praised, no one helped, yet you still stood. I want you to know this so you stop blaming yourself. You are not tired because you are weak. You are tired because you have been strong all day without rest. When I see you sitting there like that, I do not come to ask you to be stronger. I come as the one who wipes the sweat from the warrior's brow. I come to place my hand on your back and declare, today you have done enough. You have not failed. You have simply fought more than you realize. There are warriors who do not grow only through victories on the battlefield, but through the quiet evenings when they sit alone and let me heal the wounds they never tell anyone about. And tonight, I am healing the wounds you have hidden, the deepest, the ones you have called not worth mentioning. Though I know it is exactly those wounds that have slowed the soul of my warrior, I will not let them remain one more day. You have felt as if you were standing alone in the middle of a vast battlefield, while everyone around you seemed calm, joyful, untouched by attack the way you were. You asked me, why am I the only one under this weight? And I want to answer you again. Clearly and deeply, you are not the only one under attack. You are simply the one who perceives it sooner than they do. Your sensitivity is not a burden. It is a gift I placed in the soul of a warrior. Others do not see the first wave of the battle, but you do. Others do not hear the first footsteps of the enemy, but you hear them. Others cannot feel the shifts in the spiritual atmosphere, but you can. That is not a weakness. It is the mark of a watchman. That mark is never given to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the one I trust to stand in the most vulnerable place of the battlefield. And I want you to picture this every time you feel alone. In reality, there is a formation of angels standing in alignment behind you. You do not see them with physical eyes, but they surround you like flames that never go out. Every time you take a deep breath, they step back just enough for you to regain your rhythm. Every time you grow tired, they press my breath into the space around you. Every time you think you are about to collapse, they hold your shoulders so you will not fall. I never leave, my warrior standing alone. Not for a single second. The loneliness you feel is not truth. It is only a mist the enemy throws over you, so you forget that you have your own formation, belonging to my kingdom. You have never taken a step without the armor of heaven around you. In this past season, you have doubted many of the voices inside yourself. You no longer know how to clearly distinguish what is truth, what is emotion, what is spiritual discernment, and what is meaningless echo. It feels as if your inner world is full of mixed sounds, making you afraid that if you listen to the wrong one, you will take a wrong step. But I tell you this, you do not go astray when you follow the truth I have sown. You only lose your way when you follow the voice of fear. Fear always disguises itself as logic, as reason, as caution, making you mistake it for wisdom. But wisdom makes you stand tall. Fear makes you shrink back. Wisdom opens your eyes. Fear makes you close them. Wisdom gives you breath. Fear tightens your chest. I have come to teach you again one simple thing. My voice always carries two marks, light and peace. If a thought makes you breathe deeper, see wider, and feel yourself being lifted instead of pulled down, that is my voice. If a thought makes you tighten up, makes your heart narrow, makes you feel small, useless, or afraid of the future, that is not my voice. You do not need to be perfect at discerning from the beginning. I will walk with you through each thought. Even on the days when you are most exhausted, I sit beside you and point out each line of thinking, like a teacher showing a student which arrows are false and which are true. I do not blame you for believing a few lies in the past. I know the enemy has studied your tone so he could imitate it inside you. But from now on, I will sharpen the sound of my voice within you until it is so clear that with only the slightest tilt of your ear, you will recognize it immediately. I will make my voice stronger than fear. I will make my breath deeper than the suffocating air of deception. I know there have been moments when you wanted to drop everything, not because you did not believe in me, but because you thought you could not carry one more ounce of weight. You have lived through afternoons when your soul stood at a crossroads, unable to choose a direction. You have awakened to mornings with an empty heart, searching for any reason to move. You have had brutally honest moments when you said, "Lord, I don't know if I can take any more." And I want you to hear this very deeply, because it is the foundation of the entire journey. I did not choose you because you were strong. I chose you so that I could be strong in you. I am not asking you to be made of steel. I am only asking that you do not abandon your post. A warrior is not measured by how many times they swing the sword, but by the fact that they are still standing where I placed them. You have stood, even while shaking. You have stood, even while crying. You have stood, even when no one encouraged you. You have stood, even when your mind was under attack all day long. And that is what gives me the right to lift you into a season where you will be stronger, brighter, and sharper. There has not been a single moment of your weakness that I did not see. Not a single tear that fell without me collecting it. Not a single collapsing thought that came without me holding it up. You do not realize that every time you exhaled in despair, I lifted a portion of the weight that never belonged to you. And when you said, "I have nothing left," I answered, "I have more than enough for you to lean on." There are wounds no one knows except you and me, things that should have healed long ago but still ache when someone accidentally touches them. You have covered them, wrapped them, hidden them carefully so others would not see. But I do not want them buried forever. Not so I can dig up your pain, but so I can heal it at the root. A wound is only safe when it is opened under the right hand, at the right time, with the right breath upon it. And right now, it is I, myself, who am opening that part of you. Not so you will cry more, but so you will never again have to cry because of it. You think of yourself as too easily hurt. I see a heart that is deeply honest. You think your wounds make you weak. I see how they make you compassionate. You think your pain slows you down. I see how it makes you deeper. You think your brokenness makes you unstable. I see how it makes you a warrior with eyes that can see through the pain of others. And you do not yet know that what you have called your weaknesses, I have been treasuring as the rare spoils of the battlefield. And now, I speak this to you as the gentlest breath resting upon your soul, You are not broken. You are not lost. You are not useless. You are not slow. You are not failing. You are not a disappointment. You are being healed, being remade, being brought back into the warrior essence I designed for you from the beginning. I am not merely repairing what was fractured, I am rebuilding the very foundation within you. And from that foundation, I will lead you into the next part of your journey, a deeper unfolding, where I touch layers you once feared to open. Do you know that the moments you thought I was far away were the very moments I sat closest to you? You looked at the ceiling in the quiet hours of the night and asked, "Lord, why is everything so silent?" But you did not understand that. My silence is not like the silence of the world. My silence is not absence. It is the moment I perform surgery in the soul without inflicting unnecessary pain. I do not speak much in those seasons because I am resetting the spiritual nerves that were pulled too tightly by worry, pressure, and long-lasting lies. I keep silent the way a surgeon keeps the room still during open-heart surgery, not out of neglect, but because precision matters more than conversation. And in that silence, I sat beside you, my hand resting upon the weakest place in your soul, regulating its rhythm so your spiritual heart would not collapse into chaos. I did not let you sit in silence to frighten you. I allowed silence so I could heal you at the deepest level without interruption. You were not abandoned in those moments. You were being cared for with heaven's most delicate touch. I want you to understand a truth most warriors misunderstand. Spiritual strength is not the feeling of being strong. Strength is what I am working within you, regardless of what your emotions report. There were days when you felt utterly drained. But in the spiritual realm, I saw strength flowing like an underground river, quiet, steady, and stronger than any storm. There were days when your mind felt tangled, but I saw perseverance doing its work. There were days when you thought you were being passive, but I saw invisible resistance rising in you against every lie. I want you to know this so you stop judging yourself through fleeting emotions. Emotions are wind, but the warrior's nature is earth. The wind shifts by the hour, the earth holds. You may feel weak, but you are not weak. You may feel shaken, but you are not broken. You may feel not enough, but I see a soul being refined more beautifully than ever before. You walked through a season where your spiritual vision felt blurred, like waking suddenly from a heavy dream. Everything seemed hazy. You could not tell what was true or false, natural emotion or spiritual influence. It felt as if a gray veil covered your inner sight. I saw that. And now, I am opening your spiritual eyes slowly, gently, precisely. I open them so you can distinguish between two winds, the wind I send to guide you, and the wind the enemy sends to distract you. I open them so you can discern between two voices, the voice I speak to lift you up, and the old echoes that try to pull you down. I open them so you can recognize the difference between movement of my leading and movement of confusion. When the eyes of your spirit open, you will see that many things that frightened you never had authority over you. They had power only because you could not yet see them. Once you see, they lose their strength. One of the enemy's greatest tactics is to push you out of yourself, to make you forget who you are, to make you see yourself through a distorted lens, to make you believe you are smaller, weaker, lesser. But I am pulling you back into your true position. You are no longer standing in the territory of self-doubt. You are no longer sitting in the territory of self-accusation. You are no longer lying in the territory of nameless exhaustion. You are stepping back into the place I wrote for you, the place of a warrior who knows they are loved, kept, and covered. Not a proud warrior, but a warrior who knows they are not meant to fight alone. Not a numb warrior, but a warrior who understands that emotions do not dictate identity. Not a careless warrior, but a precise, alert warrior who walks by light, not noise. And from this position, you will regain what was stolen: spiritual confidence, clarity of mind, sharpness of discernment, and unshakable peace. There are fears you never spoke aloud because you thought they were too small or too irrational. But I heard them all. I heard the quiet questions you whispered inside. What if I fail? What if they don't understand me? What if I'm not strong enough for this journey? What if I make a mistake? You expected me to correct you with a lesson on faith. But that is not my first response. My first response is to embrace those fears so they lose their grip over you. I do not tell you, do not fear, I say. I am here in every fear. When I am present, fear loses its ground. When my hand rests on you, fear loses its voice. When I speak, fear retreats into darkness. I do not shame you for having fear. I invite you to drag fear into my light so I can dismantle it. From that place, you will stand strong, not because you forced yourself to be brave, but because fear no longer chains you. A warrior does not only hear the noise outside, a warrior learns to hear the voice within. But you were surrounded by the wrong voices for so long that you could no longer tell which voice was truly yours. I am restoring that inner truth to you. I am cleansing the interior space so you can hear your own heart again, clear like a stream in a deep forest. You will know what belongs to you and what does not. You will know when your heart is tired and needs rest, when it is being attacked and needs to stand, and when it is being invited into new territory. When your inner voice is restored, you will no longer confuse intuition with anxiety. You will no longer mistake real warnings for false alarms. You will no longer let outside negativity shape your inner identity. And from that clarity, you will become sharp like a soldier who can hear every subtle movement in the dark. There were days when you did not understand why you tired so quickly, or why your spirit dipped suddenly. It was not inconsistency. It was the lingering imbalance caused by prolonged spiritual warfare. And I am adjusting that inner rhythm now. Like a musician tuning an instrument, I tighten what is loose and loosen what is strained, so the sound of your soul becomes clear again. Not to make you someone new, but to bring you back to who you truly are, the rhythm of peace, strength, awareness, and wisdom. When your internal rhythm is restored, you will breathe easier, think clearer, and respond with accuracy. This is part of the healing of a warrior, not merely bandaging wounds, but recalibrating the inner life so chaos no longer governs you. You have had days when your breath felt shallow, as though your lungs refused to open and your heart could no longer take in one more thought. But you must understand that spiritual breath, like physical breath, can be injured when you have been compressed for too long. And I am reopening the breath of the warrior within you. I breathe new life into the places that were once constricted. I open your spiritual chest so deep breath returns. I help you breathe not by effort, but by presence. When you breathe in me, you breathe naturally. When you breathe in me, you are nourished. When you breathe in me, you grow strong from within. And I am here in every breath, every heartbeat, every small movement of your mind to ensure your awakening is not a moment, but a foundation. My child, I want to place upon your soul one final rhythm, the rhythm of steadiness. You have heard, you have felt, you have been touched, and now I want you to step forward with a new awareness. You have become the one who carries the torch in your hand. I also walk within you, and from this moment on, no mist, no fog, no shadow will ever be able to blur the warrior position I have restored in you. Keep your breath steady. Keep your heart open. Keep your eyes fixed on the light. When you step out of this moment, you step with the formation of heaven, with truth, and with peace. You do not go to look for strength. You go because strength is already flowing within you. And this is my final decree: step forward, my warrior, for the light you carry will transform every place your feet touch. You belong to me, and I hold you. That is enough. May the word of the Lord continually remind you to live each day in His faith and His love. Press follow and turn on notifications so you never miss the sacred messages He desires to speak into your life. May God bless you. Amen.